Why are we so tired? Do you feel like you're never enough? That no matter what you do, there's always something more to achieve? We live in an era where phrases like "nothing is impossible" and "you can do anything" are everywhere. Sounds motivating, right? But what if I told you that this mindset might be exactly what's draining you? Stoics taught us centuries ago a simple yet powerful truth: we cannot control everything. This relentless pursuit of productivity, of being the best, might seem like the path to success, but deep down, it's an exhausting attempt to control the uncontrollable. Think about it. How often have you felt frustrated because things didn't go as planned, even though you did everything right? That's because the control we so desperately seek is often beyond our reach. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus remind us of something essential. We have power over our actions, but not over the outcomes. Imagine carrying the weight of all your expectations while also trying to meet those of others. No wonder we feel overwhelmed. This constant positivity, marketed as a solution, blinds us to true balance. Now, consider this. What if, instead of trying to control everything, you chose to accept what's beyond your grasp, not as an act of surrender, but as a form of liberation? This doesn't mean stopping your efforts, but acting with clarity and focus, knowing that what happens next is no longer in your hands. By doing so, you begin to understand that true strength lies in introspection, in looking within and finding peace, regardless of external circumstances. We don't always have to be okay, nor do we need to achieve every goal. What we need is to learn how to accept, with serenity, life's natural flow. Here's a challenge for you. Next time you feel the pressure to do more, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, let it go. Recognize your limits and see how much lighter life becomes. After all, as the Stoics say, serenity comes when we stop fighting the inevitable and embrace what's within our reach. So are you ready to shift your perspective? 2. Self-exploration in the performance society. Who holds you more accountable, the world outside or the voice inside your head? Today, we live in a society that sells us the idea that we're the CEOs of our own lives. Every day, we're bombarded with messages like, "Be your best self," and "You alone are responsible for your success." Ooh, it sounds empowering, but deep down, this mindset turns each of us into our own boss, our own watchdog. We become prisoners of unrealistic expectations we've created for ourselves. The Stoics foresaw this dilemma. When the focus shifts from acting with virtue to chasing results, balance disappears. What once was motivation turns into a trap. We feel like we're never good enough because we're constantly seeking external validation, more productivity, more success, more recognition. And the cost: burnout, anxiety, depression. Have you ever felt exhausted even after achieving something you thought you wanted? That's the performance society at work. It makes us believe that if we're not constantly outdoing ourselves, we're failing. But Stoicism shows us another way. The solution: live with virtue. For the Stoics, the value of life doesn't lie in external achievements, but in how we live. Wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance are the compasses that should guide our actions. When we live by these principles, the obsession with results fades away. Effort stops being a burden because the focus shifts to doing what's right, not pleasing others or satisfying ourselves with unattainable goals. Think about this. What would happen if you changed your focus? If instead of asking, "Am I doing enough?" you asked, "Am I acting according to my values?" The Stoics teach us that balance emerges when we accept our human limitations and stop trying to be performance machines. Remember, you don't have to burn yourself out to prove your worth. True success lies in living aligned with what matters, not in meeting the expectations of a society that values performance over mental health. So the next time you feel pressured to do more, take a pause, ask yourself, am I living according to virtue, or am I just trying to outdo myself aimlessly? This small shift can transform not only your productivity, but your entire life. 3. The Stoic importance of contemplation. When was the last time you truly stopped? We live in a world that despises pauses. Every minute must be filled with something: emails, social media, goals. And when silence shows up, we quickly avoid it. But what if, instead of running from it, you embraced it? For the Stoics, moments of pause aren't a waste of time. They're essential. Contemplation connects us to what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors and Stoic philosophers, understood this. Every night he would write in his journal, reviewing his actions and thoughts. He knew that without these moments of reflection, there's no growth. Contemplation helps us see beyond the daily chaos and find clarity. Now imagine you're alone with no distractions, just you and your thoughts. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, even boring, but it's in this silence that the magic happens. It's here that you begin to evaluate your actions, understand what's within your control, and prepare for the challenges ahead. The Stoics called this premeditatio malorum, the anticipation of difficulties. Not to live in fear, but to strengthen oneself. By contemplating the obstacles that may arise, you become more resilient, less shaken by the unexpected. The inner tranquility born from this practice becomes a true shield against the pressures of modern life. The true power of boredom. How often have you avoided boredom as if it were your enemy? Yet for the Stoics, boredom is a golden opportunity. It creates space to think deeply, to create. Nietzsche once said, "Idleness is the parent of all virtues," and the Stoics would agree. Without these moments of pause, our minds become shallow, incapable of exploring their true depth, an act of resistance. In today's world, pausing to contemplate is almost a revolutionary act. It's not weakness, it's courage. It's saying no to excess, to noise, to the endless race. It's reclaiming your right to breathe, to feel, to be human. So how about trying an experiment? Today, set aside a few minutes just for yourself. No phone, no tasks, just you and your thoughts. Discover the transformative power of Stoic contemplation. Because sometimes the answer you're looking for isn't out there. It's within you, waiting to be heard. 4. Focusing on the essential. How many times have you lost sleep over something you couldn't change? The truth is, we spend so much time and energy trying to control the uncontrollable that we forget what truly matters. We want to shape every detail of our lives, from others' opinions to the outcomes of our actions. But as the Stoics teach us, not everything is in our hands. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, left us a powerful lesson. There are things that depend on us and things that don't. It's simple but revolutionary. Imagine carrying a backpack full of stones. Each stone represents something outside your control. Your boss's approval, other people's actions, even the weather. Now ask yourself, why am I carrying this weight? What's within your reach? The good news is you don't have to carry it all. What's truly under your control are your actions, your choices, and your thoughts. The rest, it's not worth your emotional energy. You can't control how others will react, but you can choose to act with integrity. You can't predict the future, but you can prepare for it wisely. And here's the key. When you learn to focus on the essential, life becomes lighter. The pressure decreases because you're no longer fighting against things you can't change. Perfectionism, that relentless pursuit of approval and flawless results, loses its grip. After all, why worry about what's beyond your control? A practical example. Think of a difficult situation. You worked hard on a project, but the client wasn't satisfied. What's your reaction? In the heat of the moment, you might blame yourself, worry about what others think. But from a Stoic perspective, the only question that matters is, did I do my best? If the answer is yes, then you've fulfilled your role. The final result is no longer in your control. The relief that comes with focus. When you start applying the dichotomy of control, you'll realize that much of your daily stress is unnecessary. You free yourself from the need to please everyone or predict every detail of the future. Instead, you focus on doing what's right, here and now. This isn't just liberating, it's transformative. So why not start today? Make a list of what's under your control and what isn't. Let go of the weight of the uncontrollable and see how your energy renews. Because, as the Stoic saying goes, serenity comes when we focus on what truly depends on us. Shall we do this together? And T 5, virtue as a measure of success. What does success mean to you? A promotion, a new car, or something deeper? Society teaches us to measure success by external achievements, titles, recognition, status. But for the Stoics, true success isn't about what you have or what others think of you. It's about the kind of person you become. Wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These are the virtues that Stoics consider the foundation of a successful life. Imagine for a moment that everything else disappears. Your job, your possessions, even your reputation. What remains? That's where virtues come in. They are what truly define who you are. Wisdom, the guide for decisions. Success, for the Stoics, begins with wisdom. It's the ability to see the world clearly, make sound decisions, and distinguish right from wrong. Wisdom enables us to act deliberately, free from impulsive reactions or external pressures. Courage, acting despite fear. What about courage? Often we think courage means the absence of fear, but the Stoics show us it's about taking action even when fear is present. Success isn't about avoiding difficulties, but confronting them with bravery, staying true to your principles. Justice, the heart of virtue. Justice is perhaps the noblest virtue. It reminds us to act with integrity, treating others with respect and fairness. For the Stoics, personal success is hollow if it doesn't contribute to the greater good. What is a prosperous life if it doesn't benefit those around you? Temperance, the necessary balance. Finally, temperance teaches us the value of balance. It's knowing when to say yes, and more importantly, when to say no. In a world constantly pushing us toward excess, temperance keeps us grounded, living in a moderate and harmonious way. What truly matters? Now, reflect. How often have you felt empty even after achieving something you thought defined success? This happens because external metrics don't fill what truly matters. The Stoics show us that real success is living virtuously, not vainly. A new way to measure life. So, how about redefining success? From now on, measure your life not by what you achieve, but by how you live. Are you acting wisely? Do you have the courage to do what's right? Do you treat others justly? Are you living in balance? These are the questions that truly matter. Because in the end, real success isn't something the world can give you. It's something you build within yourself. 6. Stoic resilience. What if you could face any challenge without losing your calm? Life will never be free of hardships. Problems will arise, losses will occur, and moments of uncertainty will test your strength. But the real question isn't how to avoid these situations, but how to face them. For the Stoics, the answer lies in resilience, not the denial of problems, but the ability to deal with them calmly and rationally. Premeditatio malorum, anticipating challenges. Imagine mentally preparing for difficulties before they even arrive. This is the Stoic practice of premeditatio malorum, or anticipation of evil. It's not about pessimism, but about recognizing that challenges are inevitable and strengthening yourself for when they come. Think of the Stoics as mental strategists. They visualize potential obstacles, from minor frustrations to major tragedies, so that when these events occurred, they weren't caught off guard. They were ready, emotionally balanced, and mentally prepared. Resilience in action. But what exactly is resilience? For the Stoics, it's the ability to remain calm in the midst of the storm. It's not pretending everything is fine or ignoring suffering, but facing problems head-on and saying, "I know you're here, but you won't control me." How does this apply daily? Lost a job? Stoic resilience helps you focus on what you can control, your next steps. Facing criticism? Instead of reacting emotionally, you choose to reflect calmly. The strength of a tranquil mind. The Stoics teach us that stress doesn't come from the events themselves, but from how we interpret them. When we train our minds to anticipate and accept adversity, the emotional impact diminishes. We begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth, not as punishments. A challenge for you today. Think of something that might go wrong in the future. A project, a tough conversation, an important decision. Now visualize what you would do if it actually happened. How can you prepare today to face it with serenity tomorrow? Because in the end, Stoic resilience isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up, stronger and wiser, every time it happens. 7. The value of silence and solitude in Stoic philosophy. When was the last time you were truly alone in silence? In the modern world, silence is almost non-existent. There's always a notification, a message, or background noise. But for the Stoics, silence and solitude are not just pauses, they are powerful tools for self-knowledge and mental renewal. These moments of intentional isolation don't mean withdrawing from the world permanently. On the contrary, they prepare us to return stronger. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors and Stoic philosophers, often withdrew to reflect, even with the weight of an empire on his shoulders. He understood that without silence, his mind would lack clarity. Know what silence reveals? In silence, you confront your deepest thoughts. Without distractions, there's no escaping who you truly are, and that's where the magic happens. You start to reevaluate your priorities, question what truly matters, and uncover answers hidden by the noise of daily life. Solitude also allows you to regain calm. In a world that demands constant productivity, being alone is an act of resistance. It reminds you that you're not a machine, but a human being who needs time to breathe, think, and renew. Silence as a Stoic teacher. Epictetus reminds us, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen more and speak less." Silence is not emptiness. It's an opportunity to absorb wisdom, observe the world, and better understand yourself. In solitude, we can strengthen our character, align with our values, and find the serenity we seek, an invitation to introspection. Now, let me ask you, when was the last time you intentionally sought silence, not to escape, but to reconnect with your essence? Try setting aside time each day to be alone, free from distractions. Use these moments to reflect on your actions, goals, and what truly matters, because in the end, it's in silence that we find ourselves. And by doing so, we become stronger, more aware, and better prepared to face the world. 8. The role of fate. What if you could embrace everything that happens, the good and the bad, as part of a greater plan? Life is full of surprises. Sometimes things don't go as planned. A missed opportunity, an unexpected event, or even a painful setback. In those moments, it's easy to fall into the trap of frustration, asking, "Why is this happening to me?" But for the Stoics, the right question isn't why, but how can I accept this? This is where the concept of amor fati, the love of fate, comes in. It's about accepting, even embracing, every event as necessary part of a greater whole. The power of acceptance. When we resist the unexpected, we create unnecessary emotional burdens. We fight against reality, feeding frustrations and unmet expectations. But according to Stoicism, accepting what we cannot change is the key to serenity. Imagine living in harmony with the natural flow of life, without fighting against the tides. It doesn't mean passivity or resignation, but understanding that every event, no matter how challenging, has something to teach us. Acceptance is liberating because it allows us to focus on what we can control, our attitude toward the facts. Amor fati in action. Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept with love everything that fate brings you, for what could be more fitting for your needs." Think of a recent setback in your life. Perhaps it was frustrating or painful. Now ask yourself, what can this teach me? How can I grow from this experience? Accepting the unexpected doesn't mean you have to like everything that happens, but rather recognize the value of each experience. After all, we don't control events, but we can always choose how to respond to them. Easing the burden of expectations. How often have you felt dissatisfied because reality didn't match your expectations? Stoicism invites us to adjust those expectations and embrace what life offers. When you let go of attachment to what should be, you find the freedom to appreciate what is. A Stoic challenge. Next time something unexpected happens, try telling yourself, "I accept this as part of my path." Notice how this shift in perspective can ease the weight of dissatisfaction, because in the end, living in harmony with fate is more than just accepting what happens. It's finding beauty, even in adversity. Throughout this journey, we've explored Stoic teachings that can transform how you handle daily challenges. The message is clear. You don't have to be a slave to circumstances or external expectations. True power lies in acting virtuously, focusing on what's within your control, and embracing each moment, good or bad, as an opportunity for growth. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these Stoic principles resonates most with your life? Share your reflections below, and let's continue this conversation. If this content resonated with you, leave a like to support the channel and subscribe for more videos that help build a more conscious and fulfilling life. Together, we can create a community striving for growth and balance. See you in the next video. Until then, practice serenity and live with purpose.